It's something I've been dreading, but I know I need to do it. It is time to pull, and I don't know if they can be sharpened, pull and replace, pull and sharpen the knives from my old Atlas 6x42. That is 6 inches wide. It's actually like 6 1/4 by 42-inch long Atlas joiner. It's been a great machine. It's a great workhorse. It's the one that took the end of my finger off. There's a speckle still up there, remind me not to be, you know, retarded. But she's dull. I hate setting joiner knives, but we're just gonna have to do it. These knives come loose with 4 Allen head screws. Well, I'll need 2 hands to get it out. But what's a really good idea, you can see it from what I did last time, is mark the spots. So this one is number 2. This one is number 1. Just, by the way, unplug this because you know, you got your hands down in the corn chip zone there. But go ahead and mark it in order to keep them balanced. But it's more important when you go to tighten it so that you don't miss one. Could you imagine what it would be like to have one of these come out of here? So by marking each one, you know, on a little piece of paper, you've tightened 1, tightened 2, tightened 3, then go back and double check them. Then double check them. So here I'm just taking the blade, and I don't know if you can see there, you can kind of see. I didn't do any of this. It's the way I inherited it. It's like they sharpened them with a 4-inch handheld grinder. They were really rough when I first got them, and so I've been working on getting these faces down. And this one's got a massive chip. I must have hit something. So I'm just going to rock it up, hold it on its face there, it takes some skill, takes some practice. It's good if you count the number of swipes, you know, to keep them all ground the same, but I'm afraid that on my beast that just is not an issue. Triage on my blades. Go ahead and try to keep yours ground the same. As I get close to the final polish on the fine stone, I will try to put a double bevel on the actual cutting edge. So that means rocking it up onto the cutting face, and then just a few degrees more. So there's the cutting face, there's where I want my double bevel. It won't be much. A lot of it is simply chasing that wire edge. And you can see when I was cleaning them up, I did leave some areas here that are almost hollow ground because I brought the edge of the blade out. So there's no need to actually dig that out of this particular blade. I have no idea how they became like that. These are the blades that I acquired with the machine. If you can scrape up fingernail dust, it's pretty sharp. Now to reinstall it. It's my favorite part. First thing to do is remember to set your machine back to 0. Not only do you want to check that the beds are aligned according to the machine, you want to double check it with a straight edge. Doing this assures that once you've got your blades set, they're actually set at 0. Reinsert your blades with the cutting edge back. So the angle of the blade goes towards this end of the machine, the nose of the machine, and the blades themselves, they go towards the rear. It's kind of a scraping motion. My backer blades go the opposite way around. sneak up. You just want these screws to just touch. The goal will be to get the blade to sort of hang in the air on its own. Because what you're going to do is you're going to find the highest point of the blade to be right about there. And then using a flat, non-metallic, aluminum works well, brass works well, plate. I'm using a chunk of corian, which is a countertop material. What I do is I simply push the blade back down where it belongs. Once you have it set, roll it back so you can access your tightening mechanism, whatever it is, and go and do each one oh so ever a little bit tighter. Check it, do it again a little tighter, check it a little tighter, because sometimes as you tighten them, they'll move. Here I will go through the whole process again. I got the blades properly aligned, got my sandwich in place, drop them in, center them, roll it forward till they just barely touch. And this can take some trial and error, and it can simply take doing it a bunch of times. They make tools to do all of this. I don't own them. Okay, so in this one, I can already tell this end is quite a bit tighter than this end, so I need to snug that up enough, just a little. It needs to rock about the same so that you don't push it down crooked. Now, align it up at its highest point. Double check that you have that you're touching basically all the way across, or not touching. Tip it back. I use the belts because I don't want to bump my blades. Double check. We've got a high blade.
Daddy?
readjusted back down, re-snug the center too.
Daddy, look. On the floor.
After you've tightened,
Daddy, I
recheck.
Daddy. I tight. Here. Okay, Daddy.
After you've rechecked,
I was down there, Daddy.
retighten. Just one more blade to do. So, I went through and I double checked the tightness on every one of those. I did it twice. That's counting 1, 2, 3, going through, making sure 100%. Just imagine that blade coming loose when you're working. I'm going to go ahead and slide the fence over and we'll give her a test run. Now the proof will be not only a smooth cut, it'll be a chatter-free cut. It won't have the little scallops. Now the machine, I don't know if a blade shifted or probably I just set it in a hurry. It was scalloping the boards when I moved them too fast, which meant that they had a high cutter edge. So we're going to see. We're going to see if it works. Here we go. Let's take a fair-sized bite. The edge is smooth, with no real tear out, no scalloping. Now let's run through a little faster. Quite a bit more tear out. But I do not see the scalloping of a high blade. Ah, there is a little. We've got one blade that's a touch high. Boy, it's just not bad. That is much better than it was. Both for tear out and for chatter. So I know there are tools. I know there are guys who will spend an hour with a dial gauge. What are you gaining? Really, honestly, it's woodworking. So that has always worked quite well for me. I don't always use Corian. Sometimes I use rock maple. I've been using the Corian block for a while now, and I like that. Nice big wide footprint, allows me to push everything down. So once again, you feel free to have your dial gauges and your angles and spend hours laboring over it, and I know it'll be better. I just take mine, I pull it, I sharpen it, I put it back together, I put it back to work. It's always done fine for me. Occasionally I get a screwy blade and I have to go back and readjust, but it's good enough. This is woodworking. Thanks for watching.